So, are you finding yourself stuck in repeat unwanted patterns and you are an empath? If so, I'm going to invite you to consider the empath's paradox because once you understand it, it also unlocks the solution to that which is recreating patterns in your life, one potential solution. And so I'm going to propose this to you. And this is something that I began to realize because it was my experience. And when I was able to think through my life trajectory, I was able to realize that this was what was happening. And I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of empaths in healing and transformation. And there's one thing that I've noticed to be true, and it's this particular paradox. And then once it's understood, again, then things become much more clear and rapid transformation can happen. So with that said, so empathy. So whether or not, so the majority of, I would say, empaths, we don't realize that our degree of sensitivity and ability to feel into others' emotions and our intuition is heightened more than average. And that's not to say that other people don't have these abilities, but for whatever reason, they're repressed upon coming into the world. We come into the world with these sensitivities already present. Oftentimes, we're in home and we are brought into home life dynamics that then enhance these abilities. In other words, stances are presented such that it's a benefit for us to be able to attune to others, and that helps us. It's become somewhat of a coping mechanism. But I digress. I will go into that in a moment. In the meantime, just consider that because think about what that which defines an empath, right? It's this naturally, it's this heightened degree of compassion and ability to attune to others' emotions. We feel them as if they are, or others' emotions as if they are our own, as I said. We also can, whether or not we're conscious of this or not, we can almost sense others' unconscious content, subconscious content. We can sense when they're hurting. We can sense the truth of whether or not what they're saying is resonating with what's actually happening internally for them. We're very, very attuned. We also we have intuition. We all do, but we tend to be aware of and have a heightened degree of intuition naturally. We also have this different sort of wisdom. When I say wisdom, I mean an understanding, a sort of a knowing of the esoteric world, let's say, and that there's more to the world than this 3D reality, and that we sense that we are all connected. So I'm perceiving that as the upper chakras, the upper energy centers being more activated, let's say. We all come into this world with a unique energetic imprint. I think that our unique energetic imprint are those particular energy centers being more active. Okay. So here's the thing. We come into this world, and as we all do, we are all enacting from the ego construct as in this time dimensional reality that we are experiencing in 3D reality. In this third dimensional frequency reality, we are all kind of indoctrinated into this lived experience of identifying from the ego as from separateness. And with that comes all sorts of challenges, relational challenges. And these challenges can occur in our experience, as they do for everybody. They occur in our formative developmental stages, right? So the attachment stage and attunement, the stage of concept of self being formulated, and then our experience of the world, ourselves relative to the world, and relationships. Okay, and so because of this heightened, let's say heightened abilities, let's say, we also then, through life experiences, build up walls around these and veils over them. So we build walls around our hearts because it's very difficult to be in the world and feel others' emotions constantly. we build up, we start to veil our third eye, in other words, our intuition. We oftentimes find, because if we haven't developed a very strong sense of self, we also we begin to ignore or dismiss our intuition, thinking that it's not true. And so then we start to build these veils in front of our third eye, let's say. Okay. Also, it's common for us to have experiences whereby we can't express, we don't feel comfortable and safe expressing our truth. So that's the throat chakra, energy center. Okay, so let's just say that, or not, let's just say, this is what's happening. I think this then presents a challenge for us, because that which is our natural proclivity toward connection and bonding and closeness evolves into coping mechanism parts of ourselves that then we might define as shadow aspects, particularly shadow aspects of empathy. And that can look like, as Carl Jung had spoken about, is oftentimes the archetype of the wounded warrior. And let's say that ties closely to the savior complex. And for various reasons, we could develop this, or our experiences could evolve and, let's say, distort into us feeling as though we need to save others. So what we're doing when we do that is we're projecting that which we have yet to heal within us onto others. We also may have developed a sense of self and worth based on how we serve others, which then leads to imbalances because we are completely dismissing and forgetting and not even understanding and knowing it, or feeling we don't deserve to have our own needs met. And so it just sort of creates, it creates this imbalance internally. Okay, so there's that. So with that said, we also could paradoxically create relationships, be the person within romantic relationship dynamics and otherwise, friendships and community and other aspects. We become the avoidant attachment because it feels safer to go within. And again, this is the exact opposite of our true nature. When we know we are one intuitively. Okay, so the solution to this is, so remember I said that it's through these developmental stages that we experience, essentially we experience, one could call traumatic experiences, which is essentially experiences that we have yet to find resolve around. Our nervous system, our bodies, our subconscious mind believes we must hold on to, in some sense, kind of freeze that experience in time, because we think that we will need to know to protect ourselves in the future should something like that occur again. So it's sort of stores that data until it's resolved. And so there's these traumatic experiences relative to, I would say, the lower energy centers of the root, the solar plexus, and sacral chakra energy centers. Each of those energy centers has its own unique experiences that could block the energy in those areas, which ultimately blocks our heart from opening entirely and our intuition, as I was saying earlier. So the beautiful thing is that we can heal, we can reintegrate, I should say, love all of our past, come to a place of complete self-acceptance, and begin to then work with, so the subtle body. I also want to say that we must heal, purify, let's say, on 3 dimensions of our being. We are multidimensional beings. And there are 3 dimensions of our being specifically that this human life experience presents circumstances to us that allow us, that then create blockages or imbalances in our energy centers that we can begin to start to clear. It's a cleansing and a clearing, which is ultimately through these experiences of love that I actually describe, not in complete detail, but kind of overview of the 4 pillars of self-love. So it's a reintegration of the self. And once we start to do that, our normal proclivity toward heart consciousness and expanded heart awareness and third eye intuition activation can really come online. And so I invite you, and make sure that's all I wanted to say. Yes. And then we also kind of lose our sense of self if during this developmental stage we ourselves were not mirrored back to us who we are, and in those around us weren't necessarily interested in expanding upon the truth of our being, so experiencing intimacy with us for whatever reason. We don't really have a strong sense of self, and we may, but we may not. And part of this experience is to tap into our divine gifts and the truth of who we are so that we can begin identifying our highest values and living according to our highest values. Then once we clear the lower blockages, let's say, and activate the heart chakra, we can begin to manifest, co-create with the universe that which we are wanting to create. And then we can begin, these patterns begin to dissolve. So I'm a holistic psychotherapist. I work with empaths, other people, but it seems as though many empaths come to me, and I provide rapid transformation individual sessions, and I know the exact tools and and methodologies to in tapping into my intuition. I can help guide you into becoming your own healer. And I invite you to my Empath's Path to Mastery community, where you'll receive all sorts of guidance. It's a free community, and I do live Q&As there as well. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you. Bye.